Okay. The information sensation is upon us. So, a couple things that I want to break down here. All right. We had a conversation on Friday about someone that I spoke with on the way in to the studio, and there was a lot of things happening quickly. I wanted to get the information out, and something that did not get, I guess, addressed clearly enough, right? Or maybe needed a little bit more clarity, is that the Kings cannot see how things go and sign Keegan to an extension during the season. That has to be done before the season starts, right? So the first day of the regular season, that's October 21st. So the extension has to be signed before that. Those are some of the conversations I had and got confirmed by some capologists, people like that, after the show on Friday. So I'm thinking, man, that's pretty crazy, because that makes this situation even more of an eyebrow raiser. Then I spoke to someone last night that is, just has a lot of information when it comes to things like this. They were basically saying to me that this is in no way, shape, or form a big deal, right? Almost went as far as to make fun of me that we're even talking about it. Okay, but it was all in jest. Essentially, their thought process was a couple of things. The Jabari Smith thing. Let's start here, because I thought this was a really one of the best notes that I got from the conversation. Let's start here. The Jabari Smith Jr. thing. Well, why did Jabari Smith Jr. get this deal and Keegan Murray is still waiting around? What's going on here? What's not adding up? Well, what else did the Rockets do this offseason? What small move did the Rockets make?
Dorian Finney-Smith?
That would be it. They went and got Kevin Durant in some crazy 10, 12 team transactional situation, and they had to add Kevin Durant to their books. So they needed to sign Jabari Smith Jr. at that time, because they were in the middle of an audit, if you will, trying to make sure everything was in a row. They had all their ducks in a row for adding Kevin Durant. If not for adding Kevin Durant, they probably wouldn't have signed Jabari Smith Jr. yet either. I thought that was a great point that, honestly, I hadn't thought about, clearly. And honestly, that person that keeps tracking me down at Rivercats games also did not think about. So that was the first thing. The second thing is that right now, everyone about to ramp up for training camp, nobody is really around the building as of right now in that same capacity. They're not, I know we think of a lot of these, the GM, the front office, kind of like a cartoon, right? They're just locked in the same room all day long. They never leave Doco. They're either on the road. They're just always with the team. That's not the case right now. So this person said to me that regardless of whether they do plan on signing Keegan Murray or not, that has no bearing on what's happening right now. There is nothing happening right now that should be viewed as outside the norm. The Jabari Smith Jr. thing, that was in conjunction with the Kevin Durant decision and the Kevin Durant trade, right? Acquiring KD. That changed the Rockets' timeline for them. As far as Keegan Murray is concerned, this is not if it is a big deal, right? If it eventually becomes a big deal, it's not because they don't have a deal with Keegan Murray by September 2nd. Jabari Smith Jr., that wasn't the typical happening. What's happening now with Keegan Murray is specifically for a guy in Keegan that is not going to be a max player where it is terribly, terribly obvious. Now, with that being said, if the Kings do decide that they don't want to extend Keegan, they can say, hey, we want to see what happens with Keegan and his back against the wall. We want to see what he does. We're not going to sign him. We're going to see what type of season he has. And we have every intention of matching what's out there, right? Or unless there's just something that they simply cannot match. We read off the teams. There's some good teams out there, the Lakers, the Clippers, teams like that. But they feel fairly confident that they will not get outbid in a Keegan Murray conversation. Maybe they just want to see what happens with Keegan and his back against the wall. Now, I still don't think that they're putting Keegan in the best position to have this type of tryout, if you will, but that could be a thought process that they're taking. So the Spark Notes, I don't know, kids don't use Spark Notes anymore because of ChatGPT. The Spark Notes version of my follow-ups from this weekend, the Jabari Smith Jr. thing, stop comparing, and this is me talking, this is people talking to me. Stop comparing Keegan Murray's situation to Jabari Smith Jr.'s. The Rockets had to get their money right and get their books in order, okay? This is more of the norm. And whether or not Keegan Murray does get signed to an extension, him being unsigned as of September 2nd means absolutely nothing. Once we get a little bit close, people continue to tell us there's plenty of time. There's essentially 2 months, right, until October 21st. And I've been told that the kind of general belief is that that is plenty of time to come to some sort of agreement. Because the thing is, they do know nothing has changed as far as, yeah, it's probably going to be around Jabari's price range and what Jabari Smith Jr. got paid. It's not a matter of, oh, do we want to pay him or not? Whether it is a matter of that, they haven't even gotten there yet. Or they haven't revisited that with the impending timeline, right? Or the deadline, I should say. So that is, I talked about 2-3 people over the weekend. They made fun of me, said you should be focusing on your baby and not Keegan Murray's impending contract 2 months ahead of time. I said, well, she's not here yet, and I'm just sitting here waiting over the long weekend, so I might as well see what's going on here. So Kings fans should feel better as far as this not meaning anything. The Kings might not give or offer Keegan an extension, but whether they do or not has nothing to do with him not being signed or us not hearing anything about it right now. Jabari Smith Jr. kind of threw off the thought process for everyone, but Jabari Smith Jr.'s situation was different because the Rockets wanted to make sure they had everything in order because of the Kevin Durant deal.
So that's interesting because at first I was like, well, why does that matter? Because Jabari Smith Jr.'s salary slot is already set for this year. But then I realized, oh, they're going to have to sign Durant to an extension, so they have to know what Jabari Smith Jr.'s dollar figure is for next year, right? So they know, I think it's like $23 million. They know he's slotted in at 23, so now they can go back to Durant and say, hey, we have $38 million in cap space.
Right.
Here you go, 38 million or whatever it is, and they kind of move the money around with Smith. It's weird. It's like he makes 23 the first year, then like 21, then 23, and then it's like 27. So like they did weird number stuff with Jabari Smith's contract, but that makes a lot of sense. They are planning on how they're going to sign Kevin Durant down the road. I still feel like it doesn't change the market on Keegan Murray, but it does adjust the timelines a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. We know what it's going to be. So someone could still feel, well, why not just do it? Because they're not there. They're not there. It's not I know, look, back in the day when I would watch movies, okay, I watched The Big Green or Mighty Ducks. I used to think that all the actors in the movie would have to stop what they're doing, which would be just a nightmare if this were true, but I didn't realize that at 7-8 years old, would stop what they were doing and reenact the movie for me. And I would feel bad, and I would not watch certain movies as much because, I don't want them. They must be tired of reenacting the movie as much. That's how I think I get caught up the same way when it comes to the front office and even ownership. They're not. Dennis Schroeder is in Eurobasket. They're not there right now. Nobody is in the building. I mean, I'm sure there's some people running around the building, but they're not all locked into a war room right now trying to crunch numbers on Keegan, or are we going to give him the extension or not? That's not happening right now.
I like to imagine it's like a lighthouse where instead of a lighthouse keeper, there's just the beam keeper.
Yeah.
Like the guy in the basement who flips the beam on
Right.
and off is the only one in the building right now.
That's it.
That's why we saw the beam the other night, was just the beam keeper, just, making sure
Right.
everything's in order. He's just got all the master keys and everything.
And you got to throw the purple socks in there. Remember that commercial? Was it De'Aaron and Sabonis with the purple socks?
I think
The power of the beam.
yeah, that it was. Yeah.
So you got to do that. You got to go check out the light keeper, give your purple socks to keep the beam going. So that is the Keegan Murray update. I got made fun of, and they told me to focus on being a better father. But the bottom line is that you should not worry about Keegan Murray's extension because of what hasn't happened yet. We will get reports when we get closer. And of course, I'll be all over that for you. But as of right now, no biggie. No biggie. All right. 916-339-1140. On the other side, Eric Pincus predicts the landing spots for the remaining free agents. Sound Sactown Sports.
I'm Ken Korak with your